Hello, everyone, and welcome to Answer the Call. This one is going to be all about looting. It's what I've been doing a lot lately. I have a looting guide video that should be coming out early next week that I'm pretty excited for, and it's also something that I have really been enjoying, but it's also kind of painful at the same time. So I thought, what a better time than to do a show and talk about everything that we like about looting in Star Citizen, everything that we don't like, and maybe even sprinkle in things like, I don't know, I played this game and I really like these little what is that word? I don't know, but you know what I mean. The little things that we love about other games' looting mechanics, and then add them to Star Citizen, so we can kind of see what we like and what we don't like. Intricacies, that's the word. So those little things that we like about other games, and we can add them to Star Citizen, because Star Citizen is obviously very unpolished when it comes to looting and inventory and all that stuff. So what do we like about other games too? But I'd like to keep the focus mostly on what we like about Star Citizen and what we don't like. So what I like about it is the loot that you find is starting to have some meaning and some purpose with selling. So there's value to certain items versus other items. I love that they put in things that people spent money for on the website that you can find in game if you work hard enough for it. I like that part. I love some of the locations that loot is at. Caves, really great places to loot. Derelicts, really great places to loot. Derelicts are my favorite by far. I find it to be very cool, the puzzles and things like that, and the fact that it's non-combat related as well. It's you can relax, you can immerse yourself in the world, and it's nice. I've always been kind of a hoarder in video games, so this is feeding on that thing that I like about video games, is hoarding aspects and collecting things. What I don't like is things are starting to have a meaning, but they still really don't. It's very clear that something like Tony Z's economy and things like that are really going to help with things like that. Crafting, and whether it's NPCs crafting things with like companies and things like that, and needing certain materials, needing certain items, stuff like that, is things that will feed into the looting, and your decision making is very could become important where it's not as important right now. If I was going to say one thing about another video game, I think Escape from Tarkov, when they implemented the hideout. The hideout became a situation where items in game that didn't have as much value before all of a sudden became incredibly valuable. Like, you grab light bulbs when I don't think you would before. You would grab certain things, and they created items specifically for it for you to find. And it felt like every time I opened a container, I had a decision I had to make. We're not quite there yet with Star Citizen, but I can feel it. I can kind of feel it coming. And I don't want Star Citizen to be Escape from Tarkov, but I do like that element of Escape from Tarkov. So, without further ado, we got a good line of callers today. It is Mother's Day, so we're going to kind of try and keep the call short. So if I do cut people off and seem rude, there's a good reason for it. Mothers come first today, and the show comes second. So I got to get off at a certain time, and I'm going to try and keep people on the point. So without further ado, Goldwep, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
What's up? I'm almost ready for you. I am ready for you, but yeah, looting. So I'll kind of give you the floor here on what you think is important and what you think. Let's start out with what do you like? What do you like about looting in Star Citizen? We'll start with that part.
Well, right out the gate, I mean, like, the first implementation seems to be pretty good compared to a lot of other things that Star Citizen's brought in. Me personally, I just got out of like a 6-hour session playing overnight with a couple of my boys. And while quantities seem to be a little bit like overtuned in some aspects, generally having that themed loot stuff and whatnot is really cool. Being able to say like, oh yeah, these medical boxes, we've got this, and this. And I really love what you just said a little bit ago about Escape from Tarkov when it comes to crafting.
Yeah.
I could totally see some of those mass quantity like med pens, like those opio pens or this or the other, being used in something like a hideout for our personal hangars, where it's
I mean, you're and you like skipped over one thing that is, I think, super obvious, right? Is there's harvestables in a lot of containers, and if you read the descriptions, those harvestables are used in some sort of crafting of some sort of thing, right?
Exactly. So it's like something like maybe like you could take one like opio pen or Sterigin and add one of those like toxic berries or whatever. You could either transfer that into like a paramed gun gel or some sort of other medication that maybe you don't have as much of in order to get that extra usefulness out of some of those not as useful items in those boxes.
Yeah.
When it comes to weapons though, I really haven't had that much experience saying like a lot of my friends were really pissed off when they took the FS9s from stores and the missile launchers and railguns, and it was a big issue of me trying to talk them down of like, well, those are more power weapons, and right now trying to get that balance of like, it's not just for it's more what do the players want and where should we put them and should they be in some shops and where for like maybe the Animus missile launcher, since people are going exclusively for that now that it's been pulled from shops. That could be something that they add for Pyro, or something that maybe only Grimhex would have some items or whatnot. But I do have the issue with that, especially if they're going to run this dynamic event in for Orison, is having that like where are you going to like get those from in time, right? So like we're already seeing some issues of the mechanics of looting are kind of getting in the way of things that we want to do for gameplay, right?
Like
and
what?
I totally.
Like as in, I need these items, and
like I think we're going to see ships in atmosphere that we're not going to see for something like the Orison thing. It's like, well, how are we going to deal with that when we might not have access to our ship weapons or something like that? Like we're going to need railguns or a missile launcher. Those just aren't consistently available anymore. But I do think that it's an overall good change to pull that from that system.
I think it's also like the pain point for you is also just one of those. It's I think they're retroactively pulling them out of shops, but then I think they'll probably be behind reputation as well at some point.
Yeah.
And because you don't have the reputation system for it, it feels like they're gone. And yeah, they're gone for now, but they'll probably make a comeback.
Exactly. Now that you mention it, I think that makes a lot more sense of just pulling those things. Like I think I saw some post where Tammy and Sons, there's a door that's like crossed over. It's like that could be a secondary store for Tammy's where you can get some of those like higher reputation things.
And it only opens if you have certain rep.
Yeah, if you've been doing work with like Clovis or whatever downstairs or this, that, the other. Yeah. Which that would be cool, but I do see how it's an issue now. And kind of transitioning into the next thing that I wanted to talk on was like the thing that I do absolutely love about 317 was moving the first quote-unquote pay-to-win items or buyable items from the subscriber shop into looting.
Hell yeah.
The first thing that I did when I got that like to the Caterpillar wreck, I was floored to see that bright orange, disgusting looking electric sniper rifle. It's just like, this is the goofiest thing ever, but it's unique and it's cool. And I went out and I had to find this derelict and I had to like go get it, which like going off of what you said earlier, that between like player ships, it's like that is the difference between buying things and finding things, right? That kind of, you're going to be the guy in the weird gold armor, which every other like guy in at Grand Marshal or whatever has, but he's the guy with that weird bright orange sniper rifle. You know, like that's the kind of thing I'm going to love to see as time goes on. Especially
which one has in-game value? You know, which one is actually rare? Probably the one that's earned, not the one that's purchased.
And that's like, I think maybe it's hard to say that when I was listening to you earlier mention that thing with the in-game ships versus out-of-game ships, it feels right now with the limited experience that I've had that difference with the subscriber armors and like weapons and things like that, it kind of has shown where they might go with the ships. You might have more customizations that are exclusively available to you when you buy it in game, like it could be some sort of like liveries for like first time buyer or like certain things that are custom limited to that they might pull from the looting system.
Sure. Let me pause you there for a second, because it sounds like you think that I was speculating a little bit that's what we should do. It's on an official post.
Oh, is it?
That is what they're going to do. They just haven't done it yet.
I didn't
let me
get that.
let me clear it up for the audience, because they may not have heard. This was a conversation from earlier that isn't on the podcast, so when it ends up on YouTube, people are going to be confused. I'm referring to one day somebody made a comment on my YouTube video. It was about an Answer the Call pod. It was on Answer the Call podcast with WTFosaurus. We're talking about, this is ridiculous. When you look at an 890 jump, you're supposed to be wowed because somebody earned a crazy huge ship, and you're not because somebody bought it with a credit card. Somebody in my YouTube comment made an amazing comment saying, why don't you just apply paints to ships that you earn in game, so you differentiate people who bought with a credit card versus people who bought in game? And I posted something on Reddit, or somebody reposted something I said on Reddit, which was basically reiterating that comment, and it got to CIG, and they made an official post. If you search paint system, something like that, on the RSI website, you'll see that. That was like one of the only things that I had any influence on the game, but it wasn't even my idea, and I absolutely gave credit to the guy in the YouTube comments. But that's a thing, and that's a thing that's going to happen. But it's never been prioritized, and
Yeah.
it probably could be, but again, we don't have that paid system where they've talked about it before. It's very much not a priority for them to do paint, and it's very much not a system that works for all ships, and yeah. So that's why we're not there yet, but that is the thing that they've stated they want to do. I don't know if they still want to do it, but at the time, they like the idea. I think it will also create a situation where I'm flying my 890 jump that I purchased in game that is all gold and shiny, and you're flying one that's white, and I'll spit on you and spit down on you. So it might cause animosity towards between people. So I don't know if it's necessarily a good thing, but if there ever is a spit animation, I will absolutely use it. Poof! I spit on your credit card ships.
But yeah, I do think that maybe the new subscriber item thing might be them playing around with that idea, definitely, of pulling some of those, like some of the things on the store, because I don't think many people are actually buying ship paints, this, that, the other. I think that we could actually end up getting things where, through reputation and maybe through looting, that you find some data disc that has like this cool like design on it that you could then take home to your take back to your personal hangar. And you're like, okay, this data disc that I found in this really like obscure place has this unique paint or has this unique weapon or something like that.
You're my kind of guy. I could tell.
Yeah.
Like you like I just want some silly little item that really, it doesn't mean anything, but it is rare, and I want to show off my thing that I found.
Oh, dude, I am a RuneScape veteran.
Yeah.
And so literally one of the big items there is just a party hat or like a Santa hat. It's like
my brother
not at all useful at PvP.
My brother has them, and yeah, like he came here and visited, and like before he started working, so it was his last hurrah with like just grinding RuneScape, and he was showing me all his party hats and all his things that he has. I was an Ultima Online player. Yeah, exactly. I was an Ultima Online player, and the big like most expensive valuable items, they would do like weekly, monthly events, or sometimes there were like in-game story events that had special items with those, and those one-time things.
Holiday events? Oh yeah.
Yeah. Vandal Mask and Star Citizen is the really only time they've ever done anything like that. The Vandal Mask, the Benny Hill Mask, those two are, or the Hill Horror Mask, whatever it's called, those two are where I really want to see them go long term, but again, occasionally, so they're rare and exciting and hold that value of not only monetary value in game, but also just emotional and like remembering value. Like, remember that event? I'll never forget the Vandal Mask event.
Care about this mask.
Yeah, I'll never forget the Vandal Mask event. The Vandal Mask event is what brought me back to PvP for the first time since Arena Commander, and I enjoyed it.
Because like not only did you have a reason to do the thing, but then at the end of it, you got this thing that no one can buy. Which, going into it, now that you mentioned the Benny Hill masks, they might be toying around with the idea of just having lootable items that things like that. Any sort of PvPers will have their own thing. Explorers will have items that like really show that like you are you went way too far into that cave and you got this cool little, I don't know, bobblehead for whatever. I think that we're seeing a lot of the groundwork being laid for things like that.
Yeah, Pico balls, like silly things
Pico penguins.
Like that. They don't have to be. They don't have to provide game value to provide value to players. They don't need to make you better at flying or something like that.
It's for the longest time. Like I remember when they first added the Peak of the Penguin thing, and I asked myself, why are they doing this? This is so stupid, and it does nothing. And then I caught myself about a month and a half ago. I would fly my Constellation, and every time I'd spawn at Orison, I'd pick up a Pico, and I'd go, you know what, you're going to be my buddy today. And I have the same Pico on my ship now from 316 on my Constellation. That's how long I've managed to not blow up my Constellation, A, and B.
Yeah, that's the most
that's
impressive.
The value right there.
That's the most impressive thing, is that you haven't blown it up, haven't bugged out, haven't had to reclaim it or anything. Yeah,
no, I do that on the Carrack and my Cutlass Red, but the Connie is my safety ship where I'll just go do bounty stuff and then go home and not dare touch the terrains on planets.
Very impressive. Yeah.
The one thing though that I would say is an issue that I have with looting right now is the lack of foresight that CIG had with containers, right? Like they added the little, I don't know, what is it? Like is that like the 1/10 SCU box, the little itty bitty one that you buy at the cargo centers?
Yeah, I think it's 1/8, but yeah.
1/8. Like there's so many posts now and so many videos about people doing that workaround to get those bigger boxes, the 1 SCU box and the I think it's the 2 SCU box.
Yep.
Why was that not just sold, right? Like we have the inventory system. It's in the game, right? And I think that's just one of those things where I don't know why it wasn't thought of. Like what was mentioned of, it's right there, just put it in, and it would make our lives so much easier. Because then going down into bunkers wouldn't take 2 hours to go do. Like when I go do a bunker with a couple of my org guys, we have to either go up into our ship, strip naked, go back down, put the entire guy's armor on, go back up, strip it, right? Or bring like a box, only put helmets in that box because that's the only thing that can fit.
Oh, what are you looting armor for? You're just straight, I want them to get the
goblin,
most out of it.
Just loot goblin, dude. I want it, it's there. I don't want it to be there.
Armor's the worst value by far.
Until I can pick up that box full of med guns and whatnot, I'm just gonna I'd bring the corpses if I could, like it's like, honestly, I don't know when I'll use this guy.
That's what you should be doing.
Yeah, it's like I might need this body as a scarecrow that I'll put in the toilet of the Connie one day,
I think just for like efficiency reasons, you should just be tractor beaming all their bodies up into the ship.
I'm past that point. I'm past that point of efficiency, man. It's just that's the one issue I really have with the tractor beam, is that it's pulling away a lot of that the hands-on aspect of doing some of these things. Like they made all these awesome animations for like, taking the boxes, like you're going through things and whatnot, and they're just beaming it, right? Which I get, it's a game, but I do question what, especially since those 2 SCU boxes can be tractor beamed. That's for like now. A really interesting. Yeah, for now, that was the big thing, is that a lot of I think that the community is going to absolutely riot when CIG goes back and says, yeah, you remember that weight thing that we were talking about for player models? We're introducing that with boxes, and you can no longer bring those big boxes. You're going to have to bring that guy's body onto the elevator and loot him one piece at a time. You're going to have to take the helmet off him and this, that, the other, like for Tarkov or Arma or anything like that.
Did you catch briefly before the show the monthly report reading that I did? They talked about a weight animation.
Yeah,
like if you're overweight.
Yeah, I saw that earlier than you mentioned it. It's like they're literally going to bring an encumbrance system.
Yep.
And if people think that it's not going to apply to cargo boxes, boy, that's going to be a right hook, man, for all those efficiency people who just... I've seen some people, and I caught myself doing it, with the Caterpillar derelicts, where I'll put the boxes at one point, get about 100 meters back, and then tractor beam it, and then like fling it through the air to get it faster to my ship. Because I'm basically like bunny hopping. I'll sprint, jump, and then tractor beam and just dunk it right into my ship.
Yeah, of course.
That's fun in one way. But then when I'm with my friend last night, and we're just like, I picked up the box. I'm like, dude, take this box and look what's in it. And he just he took it right off like in front of me. It's like that interaction, I think, has its own weight and value that I think is what's going to drive the change for tractor beams. Like, it's either going to be like ship tractor beams, especially when that comes in. That's a riot oncoming.
I don't know. We'll see, because those they get slid on ships from spinning, and there's other values to those than moving things around necessarily. But I want to ask you this: where's your favorite place to loot?
My absolute favorite place to loot right now has got to be. It's got to be Aerial, just because there's so many derelicts that are available on Aerial that are within arm's length of places.
I guess I should ask, like, not location, but type of place to loot, like bunkers, caves, derelicts.
Oh, derelicts, dude, 100%. The whole
same.
like puzzle dynamic and just being able to, like, I found a door on one of the pieces that it doesn't look like it would be openable, but was.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, that was just an alternate exit. That's all it was. But it was so cool. I'm just going through, I've got this box, I'm like, oh man, I've got a tractor beam this thing up through that hole, and then I gotta get up there, up this ladder and whatnot, and I just saw a door and I go, I wonder if that button works, right?
Yeah.
And then it's just, I go over and I go, bink, and it goes, boot, and opens, and I'm like, well, look at that! Like, nice. I just got derelicts, especially with the Redeemer. Are they only working on the Redeemer one? I didn't see.
The Caterpillar is the only one that is.
Well, that's the only one in right now.
Yeah. Oh, the Reclaimer is the one that's coming. Yeah.
Yeah, that Reclaimer. One is going to be wicked.
It's a chonky boy.
Chonky boy. Between, like, I think especially if they port the Starfarer Rex from some of those Ninetales missions and a couple of other ship derelicts from the ground missions, especially like those Zeta Prolinade Starfarers. Man, it's going to be just fun trying to remember where trip mines generally are. And then, of course, they're going to change up where the trip mines are. So you'll go up that ladder that used to be safe, and you hear click, and you're like, oh, man, I should have been smarter.
I had a moment where I looked down, and I was about to jump, and there was just 2 laser beams going across the place to jump down. And I was like, oh, and I like just froze, and I luckily didn't fall down it. It was cool. So that, like, you could just tell, man, that the guys in Montreal just seem really seasoned.
They do work.
And yeah, it just kind of, it's like a really good thing because we're getting really good things out of them. But it also kind of shows, like, could we have been getting things like this out of Star Citizen for a really long time?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm kind of like, what went wrong, and why did it go wrong, and why weren't we doing things like this the entire time?
I think it's just going off of that, Montreal, I feel like at one point the Montreal team sat down and they were like, look, what they want is stuff, right? They want stuff that works, and they just want it to be good. It doesn't have to be perfect, right? I think they finally managed to convince Chris at some degree to let them put up stuff that isn't, gold standard polish, ready to go for live release. And they've just been rocking that grind set and going off that positive feedback that they've been getting on Spectrum of just like, yes, that's what we want. We want stuff that we can do now that works, and they just do it. Which is, I guess that's insane for Star Citizen, but, it's working for them.
Well, I hope people at the company start seeing what happens there and maybe do more like that.
Yeah, I think definitely with a couple, like, what is it, the new studio in Manchester or whatnot, I'm hoping that they pull a lot of theory crafting and workflow from Montreal. Definitely.
Yeah, man, we'll see. But all right, Gold Web, for the interest of keeping the show short, I would say if there's any final thoughts, anything you had written down, anything you planned on saying, now would definitely be that time.
I can't wait to see looting in 3.18, man. Being able to finally have that physicalized cargo on ships and that first logistical gameplay, it's going to be wild, and I'm ready for it, and I know it's going to be difficult on everyone else. And the only other thing I've got is I'm waiting for somewhere to develop that's like going back to RuneScape, the Grand Exchange, which is somewhere where players can go and just have their items and be like, I'm selling this, take it out of my hand, please. I don't want it. That's the only other thing.
I think we're nowhere near there because you need the loot that's in containers to be valued by players more. Like,
worth to go get it.
Yeah, like, oh, I really need that weapon attachment because it'll make my weapon this much better. It doesn't really do that.
Like a 50x scope or something for a sniper rifle,
or even just like the recoil reduction actually being something that's noticeable, or a magazine that is larger. Yeah, maybe for a sniper rifle or whatever, right? Like
LMGs or whatever.
I mean, they mentioned it again in the monthly report. To go back to that, they were talking about gadgets. Maybe those are only lootable, right?
Yeah, one thing when you mentioned the gadgets, I can totally see them adding a shield, like a ballistic shield for FPS stuff.
Yeah, they already
like heavy armor and whatnot.
Years ago.
That was the gadget. I know, but that was the gadget I thought of when you were like, I want to know what this is. I'm like, dude, ballistic shields, man. Riot Shield from Modern Warfare 2 is coming back.
Yeah, man. But
all right, that's all I got.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Is this your first time calling? I think if it hasn't...
Yeah, I've been watching. I think I was a guy a while ago, long time watcher, and then I started getting involved in chat, and then this morning I was like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's just hop right on in.
Well, I'm glad you did because it was fun.
All right, man. Well,
don't hesitate.
I'm gonna get going. I gotta go with breakfast with mom, and it ended perfectly, man.
Nice. All right, buddy. We'll see you later.
See you, Mike.
Happy Mother's Day. All right, and our next caller is 5 Stripe Gunner. What's up, man? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, nice. I could hear you too. And so piggybacking off the last call, I guess we'll start off with what do you like about the first kind of implementation of looting and selling and all that stuff in Star Citizen over the last few months?
The derelicts. This
is a common theme.
They're scratching a certain itch that I remember from Portal 2.
Okay.
Especially doing them in sort of a co-op way. There seem to be sort of multiple, maybe off-the-wall ways to get to some of this loot instead of the hard way, which is just really interesting puzzle design.
Yeah, for real. It's just so different from what we've been doing. Right? Like,
yeah. For
it's
sure.
just so different, and they're kind of tedious, and like it's a thing that it takes a long time to get through them sometimes, and it can be confusing. Oh, I don't get this puzzle or whatever, and then you get to the end, and maybe the loot isn't as good as you wanted it to be, but then you go to the next one, and it's rewarding or whatever. But the environment there is really nice, and it doesn't involve NPCs, which might be the reason why we like it, because.
I actually had a run-in with an NPC doing a looting mission at one of the bunkers.
Yeah.
And taking all of the time to fill up those single SCU crates with all of the, when you're just gathering everything, it takes some time down there to really comb through and do it.
Oh yeah.
An NPC bounty spawned with a hammerhead above our ships parked outside. Right as we were. Coming outside, tractor beaming the crate onto our ships, hammerhead instantly. I mean, it was great emergent gameplay. We were all somewhat hectic about it, but it was a great experience, right?
Sure,
it felt like something was alive. We didn't know immediately if it was an AI or a player. I mean, we could tell once we see its name and whatnot. But
yeah, once you target it, but at the moment while you're outside your ship, it's probably pretty. Oh no, all our work is
that rush,
gone.
Right? Yeah, you're not even having to role play to have this sort of immersive experience of that emergent gameplay. So, and I think that's a consequence of it just taking more time. The likelihood that a mission would spawn there increases, which is, pretty natural, I think.
Yeah.
Doesn't involve extra code.
Yeah, and if I was going to give any feedback or be critical about the current system, would be we need more of that. You need to create situations where players know that you have to create items that players want, and then you have to create a place where players know that thing that I want will appear at a certain rate of some kind, and it's probably would be a pretty low rate. And then players will go there, and we will interact with each other there. Think
Jump Town.
Right?
Yeah.
So you just need to create more Jump Town situations, but for loot. And then I think it'll get really interesting. I think Daisy, Northwest Airfield or whatever, right? Things like that. That's where military loot is. That's where I want to go to get my military loot. I'm gonna fight for it. It's gonna be a clunky experience in Star Citizen, but it will probably lead to not only improving the game and getting some of the clunk out of the way, but it'll also provide some interesting and fun experiences for players as well.
Yeah. Even not that far into getting to this emergent gameplay, I'm loving how well the medical system has improved. Mm-hmm. You have a chance to revive your teammate. That just sort of, it makes the story more fun when you log out after 2 or 3 hours and you're like, dude, I can't believe we actually got out of there. That was great that, I had time to revive you and sort of make it more of a feel good moment when you get out. By no means do I want it to be too easy, but it's still great to make those fun moments.
Yeah, for sure.
With how improved the medical gameplay is.
Absolutely. And like just going back to my last comment, I think the way that you make it not that easy is not just with NPCs. Is if you just bring players there, it'll always be different, and it definitely won't be easy.
Yeah.
I feel like Security Post Correa has to be that spot too.
Yeah. It's too much in everybody's minds already.
Yeah.
It seems like a natural place. Yeah. One thing I don't like about looting in the bunkers is that, and maybe this is just where I haven't been through it enough to see it. The guards down there, they all have just their basic weapon and a suit of armor. And when I think back to things in other games that you wanted us to mention, little nuances and stuff, in RuneScape, even the lowest level goblins or cows, sometimes they would drop something that was a bit more valuable than just like their crappy sword or whatnot. They would drop some runes or like cash or something novel. I really don't care to go look at any guard on the ground unless I'm out of ammo and need a gun.
I ignore them. I just go to the containers and I might take their guns.
They don't even have extra ammo. For the same gun that they have, do they?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I haven't seen that nearly as much. It's more often where it's just the armor, the guns on the ground.
I don't. To be quite honest, I don't kill guards that often. But the pirates or whatever that you're killing.
I kind of mean both of them just all together.
Okay. Whatever gun they have 2 magazines full.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So that is one thing that they put on them. But you are 1,000% right. Is you want to open that like Escape from Tarkov does it absolutely perfectly. There's no
even
better way.
Even a skin on their gun.
Yeah, true. Like you could do something like that, but like with Escape from Tarkov, the bag is closed. So you open the UI and you don't know what's in it, right? And then you click a button and you get the little spinny wheel and you're like, "Ooh, I wonder what's going to be in there." And you have that
opening that pack of magic cards or that.
Yeah. You have that moment of like, I wonder what's inside. And when you see
for any moment it could be anything. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels really good. And they have the ability to do that because NPCs have armor that have containers that you can open.
Yeah.
They just don't put anything in them yet.
I like from other games too, the idea that there are some sort of sliders for some attribute on a gun or a weapon. And a lot of other games, it's been sort of maybe magic-y or sort of hand-wavy, like this has plus 10% damage or whatever. And I don't necessarily want something that hand-wavy. I'm not sure, but I liked that about other games. Maybe the wear and tear could be like maybe there's a misfire percent or I'm not terribly sure. But I like that in other games, right?
I got you. Are you ready? One thing somebody said in chat is attachments. So certain rare attachments can be on those guns that can help with that. The other thing is that Star Citizen always planned for a system called I think like tweaking or something like that, where you could
An engineering loop to
overclock.
level it up.
Yeah, you can overclock certain components for ships. Why not weapons, right? Why not some sort of
High quality.
yeah, you can hack
improvement,
them a little bit and
mod.
them. Yeah, mod them. There you go. That's better. And those maybe are modded versions of a P4AR. You know, and you just get those
Full
or.
auto.
Yeah, and somebody in chat said, "Oh no, Elite Dangerous Engineering." No, I'm not going to have to grind for 16 months to get the stupid gun. All right, because that's like the thing that turns me off to Elite more than anything is everything is a grind for seemingly no reason. And yeah, I don't think that's what I mean. But yeah, it could be that players do that. They do the tweaking, or it could be that NPCs do it, and maybe you get some unique weapons that way.
Yeah, that's a whole can of worms, I guess. And I could sit here and theorycraft all day, I guess.
Yeah.
That's exciting about this game, though.
Absolutely.
Yeah, one, I don't know if this is a hot take, but do you think that making those SCU crates is crafting? You take things, you combine them, you put it through a process, you harvest what's left over.
Do I think it should be crafting? Because I don't think it is
it's
now.
Kind of a joke, but I mean, it feels like you're crafting something that's useful to you. I love it. I love that you can't just go buy it.
Yeah. But I hate the way that we do it right now.
It does take so much time. And you can't really save it, right?
No, you can't. So the guy I've been playing with had it for, he bedlogged. He had it for a couple days, but you never know when it's going to disappear. It didn't save on a 30K for me.
Yeah. I lost one through a server hop. But no, I like making those. I like crafting them. It's sort of part of like organizing like Prejump Town. Our friends and I, we sort of like prepped, right? We were like, okay, we know sort of where it's going to be. It dropped 2 hours ago. We're going to be on in a couple hours. We know where it's at. People can sort of get on and prep for the mission that we're going to do later.
Yep.
So
I need these suits.
Making some
I
of
need
those
these
boxes.
Weapons.
Yeah. I got up a couple hours before my friend. I made some boxes. I had some tractor beams for us. I kind of had everything ready to go. And that was enjoyable. It was part of a good experience. So I'm having a great time playing Star Citizen right now.
Yeah, like this is the first time I played through an entire weekday. I think 6 hours plus every day, and never felt the desire to get off, and was actually upset that I had to get off because there was more I wanted to do.
Yeah, the reason I'm up right now is because I played all night.
Yeah, I haven't had that in a while, and to think that we're feeling this way when the system is so incomplete and none of the things that you're looting are even worth anything.
Yeah. I would love if that trash, like fruit or some of the harvestables, like some of the flowers or whatnot, that needs to be what I want to take to Jump Town to turn into the product that comes out of the machine. Yep. Right. So that there's a much longer logistical chain to not just owning Jump Town. If you don't have the resources, maybe you have to pay somebody for those resources. Maybe you can work together with somebody else who has them, or that opens up more opportunity for piracy in transit of the material before it's even the maze.
I'm gonna one up you. You. You know how the whole story behind Jump Town 2 is it's like a malfunctioning thing that's making the maze or whatever. It's coming out too quickly, really fast. Mm-hmm. I think it should be a really, really rare drop that drops a hacking chip that only goes into a drug lab and creates that problem, and you create it for yourself. You create Jump Town by finding that thing. It's a key. It's like a lab.
Much more truly dynamic because a player holds the initiation of it. Huh?
Exactly.
The drop can happen, but that doesn't mean the event has started yet.
Nope. It only
They get
starts
to
on
trigger when
your
they
server.
want.
Yeah.
They get to play puppeteer and marionette, and they pick the time and the place.
Yeah. And everyone's
that
like,
sounds
oh
cool.
Shit. Jump Town's popping off. Let's gear up. And then they go, and then it's a big fight, whoever's on the server, right?
Yeah.
Or some people
Yeah.
are like, oh, Jump Town again. Well, that means everybody's going to be fighting over there. Looks like I can run my cargo from the really high-value cargo spots, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, I'm enjoying looting for the idea of amassing things in preparation for these dynamic events.
Yeah. See, I'm only enjoying
adding
looting.
a grind to it.
I'm in this weird place where, like, I don't find it enjoyable to do looting because I don't feel like the items have value. But I am enjoying it because I'm seeing the potential of all the things that they could do seemingly easily. I hate saying the word, it would be easy to do, because it doesn't seem like anything's easy to do with video games, or especially Star Citizen. So I don't like saying that. But the potential of what the system has to be like other video games that I enjoy is just so high that, like, a simple thing like having a key that opens a door that has something behind it is just the possibilities are endless, especially in a place where they've created this massive singular stars. We're only in one star system, but there's a massive amount of places to go that these keys can unlock, or things that you find in there can just create so much more and make the game feel even bigger than it already is just exciting. I don't know.
Yeah, and you want to say they're easy because they're just sort of permutations of things we sort of already have.
Exactly.
It's not like a completely new whole new thing that they're going to new technology to implement. I mean, that stuff's fun to think about too. But it is,
for example, like the PI mission. Frustrating. The PI mission, you go through a certain stage, it opens a certain door. We've had that for years. So I'm not asking them to do something that isn't in game. I'm not asking them to go completely out of the box and create something insane. I'm just saying take what you have now and improve on it. Because what you have there has a lot of potential. You just need to realize it.
Yeah. One other, I guess, I've kind of run through my notes here of things that I wanted to mention that I was enjoying and whatnot. But the thing that I'm like sort of looking forward to the most related to looting is taking those screenshots after we do an event for the Discord server, and I'm talking about an org that's like maybe 10 people, but we get together and we usually take a screenshot afterwards, of the aftermath. Now I don't know if I want that to be the aftermath of the event. I want us all to flex. I want us all to get all of the rare things we found. Yeah. And go up there looking completely unique. And my friends can recognize that's Five Stripe Gunner because he has that stuff. That's his style, his flair, because he's got those things. Instead of just like, oh yeah, he always wears that same armor set, so that might be him, but it could be anybody. You feel unique.
Yeah. Yeah, it's exciting. It's just exciting. And it's hard because I always get excited about Star Citizen and I get let down. But I haven't really been let down too much by this yet. And I honestly, Answer the Call Sunday now is sort of a frustrating day because I can't really jump in game because the podcast starts halfway through a play session and everything takes like a while in Star Citizen that I don't get to play. Like this week, I didn't want to do the podcast because I wanted to go loot. So I was like, well, I might as well do the podcast about looting. So at least I could talk about it. So I get halfway there and it'll feel good. So
that's funny.
I've just been having fun.
I totally get it. But this is that sort of that optimism that hurts so bad, right? It's like when it betrays you. Yeah, it's the most frustrating.
For sure.
Hopefully that doesn't happen. I'm enjoying it right now.
I am too, and it's enjoyable with other players, and a lot of things in game necessarily aren't because it could be desyncy or whatever, and there could be problems. But so far, it's been pretty good experience, and I'm happy with it. I don't know.
Well, one more stinger, a question, and I haven't investigated this, but this talk of the new scanning trick, right? Do you think that could apply to finding those turrets when they're invisible, shooting at you as you come in? Your shields just start taking damage because you can't even target them or something, it seems like. And
Maybe. I don't know.
I haven't gone through to do the buttons or try it.
Now.
You think it's a bug?
Yeah, and I this probably only works for rocks. I don't know. I know it doesn't work in space either, so it's...
Oh, well.
Just assume it's a bug, and hopefully they fix it for the 0.1. I know they know it's a problem.
I wasn't sure if I was going to go through and watch it to exactly mimic it, but all right, yeah. I'll spare myself some time. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so I guess 5-Stripe Gunner, well, do we leave it here? Anything else you want to say before we let you go?
Man, just appreciate all the content, man. I can tell you're on the grind. I appreciate it, man. Glad you're putting in all this work. Keep going.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I enjoyed the call. Thank you so much.
See ya.
Bye now. All right, our next caller is the Doc. The Doc. Doc, can you hear me?
Hello, I can hear you.
Okay, I can hear you, but you're very low, so I'm turning you up. I actually have you turned down a bit from maybe some other time. I don't know. And now my stuff is a little bit more simple to use, so I didn't have to. Yeah, so Doc, what have you taken part in playing a lot of Star Citizen, doing any looting, or?
Yes, yeah, a bit of it. Over the past week, or so, I've been sort of seeing what stuff spawns now in the boxes and stuff. It's some interesting stuff. Like I've found a subscriber item, and I thought at first, ooh, I could sell that, because that's how I ended up thinking at first.
Did you try?
Oh, no, I didn't. Yeah, no, not yet.
It'll probably sell for like 32 credits. For some reason, like a lot of the subscriber stuff, just especially if it's a gun, it doesn't sell for like anything.
No. It's selling that to like someone else.
Oh,
to, like, actual, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
might be hard to do.
Yeah, with like Mr. Sons and stuff like that, and
yeah.
But no, like I've found Hadanite in a box in like a bunker area, and it was like 100,000 in total.
Yep.
So that's like awesome. That's cool.
But it's also like makes no sense.
Yeah. It's like,
why is it there?
That area, like, yeah.
Hold on. Let me go down to a security bunker to go mining. Like, what?
Yes, that's like the weirdest thing.
They are very prevalent in caves as well, so there it makes sense. Other places, I don't know.
I mean, you can find like food items now and stuff like that, so it's like helpful if like I'm like it's 60% thirst. You just
top off.
Drink. Yeah.
Do you know what's even better about that? Is that you don't have to interact with the stupid ass little things to buy water and all that stuff.
Yeah,
so now
like,
I just go to a bunker and put it in my inventory. Easy.
Yeah. I mean, the hardest thing about it is actually sorting it out.
Yeah.
Like, because you can't just go all, like, shift all. Like, you have to do it one at a time, and it's like... And it hurts after a while as well. Like if you have like 100 items to shift.
Yeah. I literally got like carpal tunnel the other day, just trying to move Hadanite between a rock to a ship. Yeah. It was ridiculous. Yeah. So yeah, obviously that is the biggest pain point. But anybody who always brings up the move all button and is like, they didn't put in a move all button, okay, if you come at it from that standpoint, I get it. But they've mentioned multiple times now that they would like to do it and they're going to do it. I don't know why they're not prioritizing it. We would like them to. Please put the move all button, CIG. But it's one of those things where I think some people just start like losing their mind over it, and it's kind of like they know. They know. You don't have to keep yelling. They know. So yeah, I don't know. It's that is the thing I don't like the most about looting,
Yeah,
but it's
that's like
also the thing that I'm gonna go, okay, if it's not in 3.18, then I'll lose my mind, because they mentioned it in 3.16 after while 3.17 was kind of in the PTU. If they don't do it by 3.18, I'm gonna blow up. But until then, please just prioritize that. Did you go to any derelicts?
Not in this patch yet, no.
You gotta. I think you'll
Is it,
like it.
improved? Is it
Is it
overall,
improved? Yeah, big time. It's they're like think The Last of Us, or I don't know, like a Lara Croft game, Tomb Raider game. It's more like that, where it's you go there and there's like a puzzle, and at the end of the puzzle is a reward. It's not really like, obviously they're not as good as those games or as detailed as those games, but that's like the idea behind it, right? It's definitely inspired by those, but it's not that good.
Yeah. I mean, I started Oregon, and sort of the inventory in that is super tight. Like, it's just simple, and that's what I want out of SC as well a bit. Like, it's just simple. Yeah,
we all want simple out of CIG, but they always want super complicated and reinventing the wheel stuff. Yeah, for some reason. Yep. I don't know. We talked about we talked about what you like. We talked a bit about what you didn't like. Any other games that inspire you for like fun things with looting? Whether it's what's inside, the actual mechanic of it.
I'm not really sure, to be honest. It would have to be Fallout as a
Fallout
moment. Yeah.
If there was one item that's not currently in loot containers or in Star Citizen in general, what would it be? What would you add?
That's a big one.
Oh yeah,
because I'm adding all the paid items in the game now. It's like over time. But it would have to, I mean, I want to say that Undual helmet.
Don't you dare!
We got
no, nope, get out. All right, the next caller is, you are not allowed. Listen, some things have to be unique and special. If you weren't there, I'm sorry, you didn't get it.
Okay.
You can have your opinion, but I also don't have to like it, Doc. Okay?
Yeah. Okay, what else could be in the game? That
it doesn't have to be like a specific item. It could be like a certain type of thing. So, like, for me, it's keys.
Yeah, keys. Actually, yeah. You're on about in the last call was interesting, actually. Sort of starting at that like event, you sort of work for that.
Yeah. Keys, like somebody just said, chip paints and loot boxes. I think that's weird, but maybe you can say like hex code, like a certain code or something like that for them.
Pretty cool for like paints.
Yeah. And again, I think it was the last caller that was like, there's no loot on the NPCs. Like, I think that's the next step where we need to go, because then you can get yourself with all right, these are low level NPCs, these are higher level NPCs. Oh, maps, like a treasure map, right? Like that's cool. That's where I want to go with the podcast. Like, as far as the imaginary stuff is, where you look at other games and what loot it was in those games that brought that enhanced your experience. It doesn't have to make you a better PvPer. It doesn't have to make your gun work more efficiently, but it could lead you somewhere. It can take you and have you go somewhere else and excite you in a way that you didn't expect to be excited about, right? That is where I would love to see looting go next. I think for me, you got to put loot inside NPCs. It has to make sense for those specific NPCs, and then after that, it's like start taking me on adventures, man. Every adventure shouldn't start in the Moby Glass.
No,
That's like where I think the next step for Star Citizen is.
Yeah, like if you have like an NPC and they have like a hacking tool or something, or like a map, you go, ooh, that's interesting. You can sort of head off to that, like, if you want.
But if you don't, what do you do?
Yeah. It should be that, like, openness to the game.
Yeah, you sell it, but then you get what you wanted for, like, the first thing that came to your mind is, like, I'll give a perfect example, right? There are a lot of people in this game that don't like PvPing, and they may not enjoy Pyro, because Pyro may be an absolute dumpster fire for them. Well, what if we had this, like, treasure hunt map thing that said there is a derelict over here. It'll give you a quantum marker, right? It just gives you a quantum marker. Here's this thing. But they're too afraid to leave Stanton. Well, they could sell that key or that data somehow to another player. And that player can go and take the risk. And the player who didn't want to take the risk still got a reward. And then everybody's happy.
Yeah.
I've seen that treasure maps being sold in other games, stuff like that, right? So there's so many things where looting can go, and that is why it excites me. I'm not excited about the current implementation, and that's why I may seem more positive about Star Citizen than I ever had. It's because I see Star Citizen happening in front of my eyes for the first time in a while, where we're getting bits of the game that I've always wanted to play. I don't think it's going to be Star Citizen. I don't think it's going to be fun. I think there's going to be tons of problems with it. It's clearly an alpha game, and there's clearly problems with it. But I can finally see them going, oh shit, maybe we should finally make a fucking video game in this thing, and it's starting to happen, and it feels good.
Yeah, it's exciting almost.
Yeah. And I don't know. We'll see. But that is where I see the game going. And I think it's like fucking mega easy win. Mega easy win. You don't got to do anything crazy, boys. Put a fucking map that when you click it, it gives you a point that you can quantum to. Is that I know that's not crazy. I know that's not hard.
No, that's not because
you do it every time you click guess what? You click a button in your Moby Glass, it gives you a location to quantum to. Yeah. If I click a button in a fucking map that I get out of a thing, it'll give me a location to quantum to. How is that any different? I'm not asking them to do any mind-blowing things, okay? But they will enhance the game experience to, like, no end. And if you take players in a... I'm sorry, Doc, I'm taking up your call so much for just my absolute rant. I do apologize. But if you just take players from a place they are to a place they may or may not want to go to, and there may or may not be risk in them going there, it's just so good. It's just such a good experience for me in games with that. And I would love to see that in SC, and I don't think it would be that difficult to do it.
No, it's like, I'm going to say it's like easy or anything, but yeah. It'd be interesting to see if they actually did that or not.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, I'm sorry I took up a lot of your call, but is there anything that else that comes to your mind about this stuff?
Really, no. I think we've sort of talked about the routing of items and how it works and what is broken already. Like, oh my god, like my hands are already aching after like half an hour. Like after a patch is dropped because I have like 100 only items to shift over to like Arcal 1. I'm like, oh my god.
Yep.
That's like the worst thing at the minute, I think.
I think it's the worst, but I also like it.
Oh
It's
like hauling
good-
stuff, cargo hauling. Is
Yeah,
kind of
it's
nice.
like a good system to have to move, because I guess this is kind of part of looting too. It's an inventory thing, is to have to move your items from a place where you are or where you got them to a place where you want them, and that's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's
but-
kind of right to.
Yeah,
It's obviously like the storing of it and like the shifting of it over like 100 times, 200 times. If you're that intense.
yeah. So we'll have to see. Hopefully it improves. But again, if we don't see a store all button or a loot all button or something in 3.18, I say I say we all riot. People riot. Well, people riot in the chat, and we will find a way to boycott or riot some. Maybe we'll riot Star Citizen chat or something like to the point where they would literally have to ban all of us. I don't know, but if they don't do it, we'll just we have to create a riot. I'll make a website on I'll make a GeoCities website, and we'll do it, or a Facebook group. There we go. I'll make a Facebook group, and we're gonna storm the Citizen Con. All right? Yeah. I'm going to make a Facebook group, and we're going to storm Citizen Con if they don't put it in 3.18. All right?
Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic.
Yeah. So, all right, Doc, we'll let you go.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling. You still rock climbing?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
Keep up. Show me some more pictures.
Yeah, I'll have to take some. I haven't taken in for a while.
All right, man. We'll talk to you later.
Yep.
Bye-bye. All right, our next caller is Commander Uwu. Commander Uwu, hello.
Hey.
How's it going?
Yeah, great, man. So, for me, I don't know. This patch again feels like close, but not quite there yet, right?
Correct, yeah.
So it's all the looting, It's frustrating that it is so close, but not quite there yet, right? It's. I think they need to practice KISS. It's like keep it simple, stupid, right?
Yeah.
Because they're just making everything more complicated than it has to be, and they're not prioritizing simple stuff like stack all, move all, select all. I mean, it would have made it. It would have made it awesome, right? I just did a cave in Aberdeen. The frames are great. AI responds great, but the looting experience is just meh. I mean, you open a box and just getting the Hadanite out, it takes too long. It's looting guns, right? They go to your hand, but not quite, and then it's glitchy and buggy, and then finally you get it, and then it's fine. But the entire experience is close, but not there, and that just makes it wrong.
It's very clunky.
Yeah. I just, and I mean, look at Tarkov. Even look at Diablo. Like way back when, right? I mean, that was great. I mean, the looting experience was there. DayZ, it's the same. Give us boxes, right? Even in the inventory for like you get like an ammo box, so you don't have to sort on it. You can just say like, okay, here I have a box, all my ammo's in there, and then right, and here I have an armor storage, all my armor's in there, and here I have a weapon locker, and all my weapons are in there, and here I have a huge shipping container, and all my vehicle stuff is in there, right? That would have been better for me anyway. But then again, even with that, I'm still having fun. So.
Oh, absolutely. The thing about like every other game that you mentioned that still is driving me nuts about the current Star Citizen one, but I can accept it because, again, I could tell, it's obviously kind of first iteration stuff, is that now when I open a container, I haven't done it very much yet. Like I haven't looted for months and months and months on end. Like we have done in a lot of other games, is when I open a container, I know exactly what is going to be in there. Like it'll be either this or this, and it's like the excitement is now gone for most of the containers. I think the only container where there's still a level of excitement is gold containers at the Rex, maybe, but the
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess the white boxes with the Hadanite, I open them and I'm like, yo, I know this has value, sweet. But but I'm not like, oh, sick. Like, we don't have that moment yet. We're a little ways away from that, but I am looking forward to that one day.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And it's also, I'm not seeing those purely military boxes as often anymore at Dispatch. I mean, I know they're still out there, but I mean, you run into them rarely.
Because you're not going to the right places.
Yeah, probably. I know like
so.
Security Post Korea has them, I know, and but like in bunkers, you used to find them a lot, but you don't get them now, right? But you do get the red boxes, and the red boxes are sort of a surprise because they can be lots of things. I mean, I found grenade launchers in there, and subscriber sniper rifles and stuff, and that's kind of cool. So you get like a unique gun, but then they come without scope, so that's also weird, and this patch gives me kind of like the time to enjoy it. Like, I wish they'd done a wipe, right? So that you had to start over. Yes. Because me being me, I was like, oh, they're gonna wipe. I'm gonna get all the guns that I need because I have a crap ton of money and not using it for anything. So I got all the FS9s I want, and I've got all the grenade launchers and rocket launchers I want. And now I've just left them like at Loreville and started over on Everest Harbor, right? Mm-hmm. Because that's the gameplay that I actually want. It's way more fun to just play with what you loot. And I think they made a wrong choice by not doing a wipe. Even if they did just the inventory, right? And let people keep their money and stuff, but it would have been better. It would have really been better. Like right now, if you see somebody with an Artemex armor or whatever, you know, oh, they just got it from the previous patch, right?
Most likely, yeah. But if you got it out of... But they have them with the like they'll pay for ones, which are kind of sweet.
Yeah. You have those. Those are kind of awesome if you find them. And of course the Hurston Executive, right? Because you know that you had to get the crime stack, go into the bunker, and I know the amount of like reputation grind you have to do to make up for grinding Artemex armor is pretty intense if you want to go bounty hunting again for Hurston, right? Yeah. So it's definitely a cost that I'm like, yeah, if somebody goes for that, then I'm like, yeah, that's definitely, you know, if you want to pay that price, then I'd be down for that too, right? That's it gives it value, right? Because you know, like if you're gonna play the lawful side and you want to do bounty hunting, when you go to like Security Depot 1 and you start killing NPCs, you're hurting your reputation a lot, right? It's gonna take you a while before you even get to do bounty hunting missions again. So yeah, if you want to be a blue player and you want to get the Artemex armor, yeah, that's a price.
Yeah.
And I hope they do more of that, like combine it with reputation, right? Because that's... So also Dispatch just basically feels like, oh, you're so close, but not
every patch feels like that, man. Every patch.
Yeah, but in this case, because all, like so many other things are right. I mean, we got these things sort of fixed, so that's great. I mean, flying against NPC ships is, well, I mean, it's not that hard, but it's more challenging, right? So I'm having more fun that way. But like looting, it's just not quite. I mean, so you go to the bunker and you want to loot weapons. It's clunky. You want to loot ammo. For some guns, the guards spawn with ammo. But if you get like the Hurston guns with the Karna rifle, you don't get the ammo. You go do bunker mission, or you go do cave missions. You find a gun, but they don't carry ammo at all. None of the NPCs down there. How much work would it have been to just like make that work as well, guys? I mean, it feels sloppy.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, those are things that I always ask that question, but I'm legitimate. It's not rhetorical. I'm asking that question because why didn't you do that? Who dropped the ball or who didn't have the time? Why didn't you have the time? It always poses the question of like, these are easy wins, but how easy are they? How are they not? Easy wins in the sense of they've already been done in other video games. They're obvious. They should be there. Why aren't they?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's what I always wonder. And I don't know. Maybe it is more difficult than we think it is. Maybe they need more tech, right? We have no idea. They've reinvented the wheel 3,000 times that does the wheel even have spokes anymore? I don't know. So it's one of those things where you don't know how easy something even is, because Star Citizen is just this complicated mess of like spaghetti at this point. I don't know if something simple that you expect to be in a video game and every other video game that you play with an inventory, like a move all button, is something that, yeah, we know you wanted it, but we didn't have the time. What does that even mean?
Yeah, and I mean, seriously, in that case, why just not? I mean, we all want the patch, right? But I'd rather have like 2 more weeks of PTU and that we do have that button, right?
Yeah.
Or if PTU drops 2 weeks later, so we can test and, you know, it's in there. It's the same that I'm reading a lot of things about they wanted to change some stuff with turret acceleration and stuff, right? And they said, yeah, but we didn't have enough time. So why don't we make more time? I mean, yeah, sure, people get frustrated that it's going to take a while longer, but they'll be happier if they get a more stable, complete patch, right? Because right now, like the video you were watching before you started Answer the Call, hearing that guy rant, I'm like, yeah, I get it, man. I mean, I'm not that negative, but I get it, right?
Yeah.
So why isn't there more time to make it great, right? I mean,
because they put themselves on a quarterly release schedule that also coincides with quarterly ship sales.
Yeah, it's sad
and
but true.
It's sad but true, but it's also a necessity. How does Star Citizen get developed? By selling ships. We're not getting Star Citizen developed. Oh, guys, by the way, we're switching to a subscription model. No, not going to happen. None of us want them to get huge investments from outside people. We've already seen what that's caused. Look at every single dev that we used to hear on Calling All Devs and they're all working on Squadron 42 now. None of them are working there. Why? Part of it is because of that investment, I would think. So we don't want anything like that. We want the ship sale, like, believe it or not, I don't want to speak for everybody, but it seems natural to want the ship sales to continue, to understand that they have to be there. But the taking a patch and putting it out because it should have come out at this time, because whatever reasons you want to make other than because it's ready to be played, is kind of problematic. Like, I totally understand. Even when you put it out live, it's going to have bugs, but some of the bugs that we deal with now should not make it out of a PTU.
No, exactly.
Again, the standard needs to be higher. It doesn't need to be high. The standard needs to be higher.
Exactly. And especially because we've had a couple of great, at least stable patches, right? I mean,
yeah.
Still with existing bugs and existing frustrations, but I mean, I've learned to live with that over the years, so right, I'll manage. But when it goes back, because right now it's not as stable as it used to be, 30K client crashes. It's not often, but they do happen. And
I would say it's often now. It feels often because they never happened.
Especially compared to
we had 6 months where they barely happened. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
It's tough.
But then again, I don't know. It's I understand also with the ship sales, we all want the game, right? So we know they need money. But it also, I mean, for me, it's also frustrating because I'd like them to go into a certain area. So I'd be like, how do you make CIG listen, right? Hurt them where you know it hurts in the money. But while doing that, you might ruin the project. So that's not even an option, right? Because I don't want to ruin the project. I want this game to be there. So
yeah, they're in the perfect situation.
Yeah, catch-22. It's
so it's tough, but I guess I would say we're pretty off topic at this point. Anyway,
but what you're doing right here with Answer the Call, I hope these sort of things happen, help make CIG listen, right?
I don't know if they do or if they don't. I hope so too, and I think that's really the direction I want to go with Answer the Call, is just a feedback jam session. And what do I like? What do I not like? What do I like from other games and would love to see improved in the game? And just have those discussions every week for right now. And then I think at some point this show will just die once the game is playable, maybe, and maybe be like a monthly thing, whatever. But yeah, I don't I don't like where we're at right now, where if you ever complain about a system like looting, they'll say it's the first iteration.
Yeah, I think that's
shit like that. Like,
it's too easy. It's too easy.
those people are an absolute cancer to this community, and I think making excuses is not the answer to making Star Citizen better. It's hearing the complaints and validating them and going from there. Yeah,
I agree. And in the meantime, I think they should just steal from Tarkov, because that looting system is
it's perfect.
great. Yeah,
it's literally fucking perfect. No, nobody's done better. And
exactly.
Yeah. And the thing is everything behind that game, with the hideout system and rep with traders, it's literally all things that are leading. We see that happening in SC. We see it. So it's
yeah, for sure.
It's all things that it wouldn't be unreasonable to say, hey, just fucking steal from Tarkov because it's good.
No, exactly. I hope they're gonna steal the bandoliers and stuff over your armor, because right now they're just they max stick it, and it works for a couple of metal armors, but they also have like the synthetic armors, like what is it, like
the leather one.
Yeah, exactly. And for that, I think it would be great to get like a bandolier as an extra item, right?
What's
hope
a
they're gonna do
bandolier?
stuff. Yeah, like you have like a bandolier for bullets, or a vest where you can put in mags, like stuff like that, so you can physically see the mags in a like in Tarkov, right? So you have the armor, and then you have
the
like
chest.
the vest the chest
vest.
that carries the ammunition and stuff. That would be awesome, like really awesome.
Yeah, instead of it being part of the armor. Gotcha.
Exactly. I mean, one of the new heavy armors, I think it's the Molikov or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It has these patches, but they're not being used, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you get ammo, they're just funky, weirdly somewhere on there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Use what you have. It would have been so much better.
For real. Well, all right, Commander, I think this is probably a good time to stop. I want the show to be around an hour. We're at an hour and 17 minutes, and we got one more caller to go. So
Okay, awesome.
I'll let you go here.
Well, thanks for having me, man.
Dude, thanks for coming on. That was really, like, today's been a really good session. I'm enjoying this a lot. The conversations have been awesome, so you included. Thank you, man.
Awesome.
All right, buddy. Bye. Talk to you soon. All right, and our final caller for the day is the Architect. So welcome.
Hey,
hello. So looting, what do you think?
So I want to touch on what the last caller just talked about. Yeah. So,
hey,
sorry.
Do me a favor. Can you sound like you're very far away from your microphone? I would get closer.
I can't physically get any closer.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you sure you have the right microphone chosen?
Oh yeah.
Because it sounds like it's very far away. So it might be like webcam mic.
Better? Worse?
Oh, yep. Now you're on the right mic.
It might have been my webcam. Anyway, where were we? Oh, the bandolier. So we're in transition, right? So we went from one type of looting system and inventory on our mobiGlas to now we're using a different button for an inventory. Who's to say that those pockets won't eventually be used? It's just like we're transitioning from one thing to another.
Yeah, for sure. I just want to see more. I just want to see every patch just take the system and drive it and keep moving it forward and keep adding cool things to the game and just go from there, and I'll be okay with that. And I think occasionally take it and really make it sick, but then, I think we have, at least for me, I think we have very good groundwork for it. But I'll do what I did with most of the other callers. Start out with, like, what do you like the most about the current system? What do you not like? And what do you like from other games that you would love to see brought in?
Well, I like the fact that we can actually pick things up now. That's a huge blessing we've been waiting for a very long time.
As in, like, the containers?
Yeah, you can pick containers up, for instance. Now there is, I think, at Dumpers Depot, they actually sell a box similar to, I don't know if you, I'm sure you have experience. I think I watched you the other day where he was mining, and they were suggesting to blow your ship up to create a container.
Yep.
but they have the containers there at Dumpers Depot, which are, in my opinion, a pretty much waste of money. I tried putting a few things in it and it was already full. And I'm like, what's this for? Is it for snacks? I mean, I don't get it.
Yeah, I've never understood those boxes because those were the boxes that would drop when you blow up ships too, if they had cargo on them, and they would have like a cargo for ants.
Yeah,
you're just like, what is this?
Even when your ship blows up, I played a few patches ago when they introduced the ship blowing up to create the box, and I was like, hold on, what's this? Because I'd never seen it before, and I was like, get your tractor beam out. We're putting that in your ship. It worked. You know, we were able, all of us were able to interact with the box, put our stuff in it. Everybody could see it. And this is, you know, we kind of theory craft a little bit, but I don't want to get into that. But so we were like, okay, log out, see, you know, log back in and see if it's still in your ship. It was, and then I think there was a period of time. It was a few days, I think. The player logged back in, and then the box eventually disappeared. But it was interesting to see that we all put like a magazine or a drink or, you know, something inside the box, and it stayed for, you know, overnight or whatever. But I think it's going in the right direction for sure. Me
too. And what don't you like?
I don't like the fact that people are saying, well, I just want to move all button, right? I do understand that it would be super simple. However, they want to keep fun with realistic. So if they do implicate a move all button, I would at least like to see your character, you know, animate like he's bent over and he's moving his arms, and it takes time to move odd objects from one container to another, like a loading bar or something. I would be okay with that. But just to move everything instantly from one box to another, you know, if you got 10, 20, 30 items, it's kind of unrealistic, but, you know, I could do with an animation or something.
I see where you're coming from. For me, my personal opinion is I think we should just fake some things. It's okay. I personally do not want a move all button. What I do want is a shift click or shift pull where all items of that type would get moved over. Right. And I started a topic after watching 30K mining yesterday. And it blew up pretty good on Spectrum. That was you that put it on Reddit, right? Yeah. No, I didn't put it on Reddit. I put it on Spectrum. Somebody put it on Reddit. Uh-oh. Yeah, but, I had to respond there. But it was a shift click, you know, and it would just boom, instantly transfer. But obviously your character would, you know, move his arm or something. I don't know. Just play the reality of it. There's too many games now that are just like instantly. And we all know this game is an instant. So, you know, buckle up. Yeah, but not just because you have to ride on a train and quantum travel to something doesn't mean that everything should be. Right. And I get what you're saying. We want this to be like, I'm assuming you're more interested in more like simi aspects of the game, maybe just based off of the comments so far. And that's fine. I just think this is like the one where I'm like, maybe we shouldn't. Just because you open a container, a magical box appears on your screen with items in it. Right, so you're already suspending the disbelief, and maybe we should take the just the simplicity of that and just roll with it. But at the same time, if you made it take a little while, okay. But then I'll give you this example here of why I don't think that can work. What if you hear footsteps? Mm-hmm. You can't react fast enough. Yeah, I mean, maybe you could. Maybe it cancels the move, whatever, right? But I would say that would be one part where it's like, okay, how do we handle this? It starts to get clunky. I would just move it. But I think the time of that it takes to loot something should be you kind of sifting through. Again, like to go back to Escape from Tarkov, I think it's a really good example of you open a body of an NPC and what happens? Everything is closed for the most part, and you have to open it. Or you open a container, and you do have that wheel that turns for a while. So you hear the box being opened. Yeah, that's where I think your point of view is like totally valid, and I would take that. To speak on what Mr. Moo said here a second ago, stacking would be very beneficial. I agree. And then I've seen the same items not stacked, right? And I'm thinking, well, the only reason I would not stack those items would be due to durability, you know, one being more broke than the other. But
these things don't have durability yet. So why aren't they stacking?
Here, I saw that too, and I'll give you a word of advice for the podcast. Don't read chat.
Well, it's fine.
Yeah, I just always tell the guests not to, because then you
Right.
end up being like a streamer and just responding to chat all the time. It's weird for a podcast when it's like you and I having the conversation.
Yeah.
But I did see it, and it brought up a point that I wanted to bring up as well. Is you don't need stacking if you have the system where, and this also goes to your point of like more realism. Like each gem is an individual
Right.
gem. And if you had a system where I can move all over by pressing a button, and okay, I'll move them all, just all those things, and not other things. Then I also have the option to individually move things. I could split that way. Maybe we don't have the split functionality as much.
The only thing I could see that would add to the stack all is if it were in a different container, right? Like a bag. If you had all the gems in a bag, that would be a stack. But that bag can't materialize out of thin air like we have had in the past. Again, I still think we're in a transition of a different type of inventory eventually coming in.
Yeah, I mean, we're in a weird place where some things stack, some things don't, and nothing stacks in real life. These aren't. There are no cup stacking championships here, so that would be the only thing that would make sense in a lot of these things. And there's very few things to stack that are in our inventories right now. So it's either we go with it, we don't go with it, but we got to go with something because the current system obviously needs improvement.
Yeah. And the only other thing I can it's a little bit off topic, but it's still kind of similar or related to, is the kiosks. I've noticed that CIG implemented a plus and minus sign, which I kind of understand. Go further, into the system to see what's next on the next page, versus having brackets as left and right. That kind of threw me off a little bit. I was like, what in the world? But I do like the fact that they implemented the ability to be able to go in and change how many you want of something, with a numpad, or a +1, -5, +10, whatever. So they've added a little bit of quality of life, but the plus and minus thing kind of threw me off a little bit.
What do you think about selling?
Oh God, I don't even want to get into it. It's kind of clunky.
Yeah, it's just clunky. But this is something that we talked about before the podcast. I think this is the last thing pre-Squadron 42 prioritization. Let's see what we get back from there. But the standards need to be higher.
Yes.
For me, that's not acceptable to put out in a patch and say, "You guys, look, we put selling in." No, you didn't.
I mean, even if they
Not
were
yet.
to kind of wrap up a lot of stuff and then release maybe a quality of life Q&A for Evocati, to kind of go through and answer some questions. Or I know you're in Evocati, but if they were allowing, some of you guys towards the end of it to ask streams, or have feedback of your own to input based on the input that you receive, to kind of touch on the quality of life that they can offer into the game at, a finished or an ideally finished point to make it a little better.
I mean, the only thing I can say about Evo is it's not necessarily a place where they're even taking feedback yet.
Right, and that's kind of sad.
Yeah, it can't be that way anymore either. But it's sort of been the way it is. So it is a place where they take feedback on some things, but a lot of the features, the feedback is really coming in a lot during the open PTU phase.
Yeah. Well, that's all I have, Mike.
All right, bro. Well, that was good. Thank you for calling in. I appreciate it. And I guess we'll let you go. Thanks to Architect.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. All right. And that'll do it. And another Answer the Call in the books. Let me know what you guys think. This is kind of the format that I really want to have. I just want it to be like feedback jam sessions, man. Feedback jam sessions. There might be some complaining. There might be some positivity that you're not used to. That's just where I want to go. I want to occasionally come on. Like, man, I haven't had a nice long conversation with Captain Burks in a while, right? So occasionally I use the podcast as an excuse to just talk to my friends, and I'll continue to do that moving forward. But for the most part, I really think that's what I want Answer the Call to be, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I absolutely enjoyed doing this episode today. I think the hard thing is you can't always do episodes like this. The game doesn't have enough to dive into, to give feedback on. But looting is definitely something that is exciting to me and has tons and tons of potential of being good, and it just comes down to them giving it a little priority, man. And I don't know if we will. So we'll have to see. But yeah, I appreciate it. It was fun. And it's Mother's Day. So I'm going to go spend some time with my mother-in-law. Unfortunately, my mother lives 1,200 miles from me. So I'm going to give her a call today. Make sure you, if you can, just give your mother a hug, give her a kiss. If you haven't gotten her something to show her some love for bringing you into this world, you should probably do so today. If you celebrate Mother's Day, I don't know if everybody does. I think it is a fairly wide net of countries that celebrate it today. So make sure you do so. And yeah, always leave likes, comments down below if this is on YouTube. And for people here on Twitch, it'll be up on YouTube later. For those of you guys that are on YouTube, you can always stop by and be one of the callers that called in today. I don't pre-screen the callers really or anything like that. There's a few people that are banned and not allowed to be on the show, but there are very few. And yeah, I just want to talk to anybody about Star Citizen. It's what I enjoy the most. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.